The question is, are you ready?
What's up, everyone? Thank y'all for joining me on Buzzing With Marlowe live. I'll say it again once and for all. Live, guys. We are live today, man. It is Friday, man. Get hyped, get pumped. It has been a heck of a week. I know everybody is excited for Fridays because it's that weekend coming. Hey, man, you can't go wrong regardless of what's going on, man. I am excited. I always look forward to these. These are so much fun. Friday is like a new enjoyment day for me, even though I start working on weekends. So it's kind of like funny thing because Friday is like the start of the work week for me, and y'all's is like the ending. So, but hey, man, I hope everybody's doing well. It has been a heck of a week, I will say, man. Like what a year we have started off, kicking off. Guys, if you're a fan of professional wrestling, check out my Wednesday weekly episodes called Commission Talks with my boys Dre on Wheels from the 11:30 podcast and my mafia boy Shiz Lansky from Off the Top Ropes podcast. We chop it up, talk about pro wrestling. We talk about our visuals. We give the true analogy of some of the prospects of what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. You get a set of a wrestler and just straight fans, man. Just a great thing, great episodes. Highly recommend. Also, guys, it will be live on YouTube live every Wednesday, unless we're on the 11:30 podcast. That will be on Talk Pro Wrestling on Fridays. Also, guys, if you haven't, check that out. It's great chats, great talk. I mean, if you're a fan of pro wrestling, even if you're not a fan of pro wrestling, I think you would understand some lessons and philosophies that goes on with it. And maybe it makes you help realize some stuff that's going on in sports in general or just stuff that's going out in life itself. That's one thing I got when I learned the analogies when coming from wrestling on the independent circuit is you realize what's real and what's not. And I'm not even just talking about wrestling. So check it out. Also, guys, if you haven't, click the link below. Like and subscribe to our YouTube, Twitch, and it all down there, man. Get out, and the audio editions. Go on those, man, and follow, man. Subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Also, guys, if you haven't, check out our merch from the Bonfire store, the Buzzing with Marlowe merch. I mean, we are doing it. It is amazing what the outcome is on these stuff, man. I'm gonna show you pictures of them again, guys. We've got some hoodies, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some t-shirts. Get whatever size you need. Those are awesome. And you also have the 3/4 baseball tees. Those have actually been the very popular ones lately. And the basic old long sleeves. If you're up north and stuff, I know it's been really cold. Check it out. And guys, if you're in Florida right now, currently it is in the 80s. Big round of applause. I'm so happy about it. You can get these Razorback tank tops, ladies. I know those would look awesome to go to the gym, the mall, wherever you want. Check it out. Hit it up. And, man, rock some of that Buzzing Marlowe merch. And also, guys, my personal favorite, the basic white hoodie, man, is really awesome. Very comfortable. And with all these bipolar weathers that we have been getting in my area of Florida, hey, man, it's been amazing. I can't complain about it. It's been crazy. But, guys, check that link below for Bonfire. And also, the discount's off, guys. It is back down to 10%. Hit Buzz20, you get 10% off. The 15% off just ended recently. And, man, what a sale we had. The bundles, I was just blown away. It's really cool to see people I'm not even going to know. They're going to be rocking Buzzing with Marlowe merch, man. This is awesome. Also, guys, I want to give a round of applause to all of you. We have finally hit the milestone that we were looking for. We are officially over the 100 mark on subscribers for YouTube, man. Round of applause for all of y'all. That is amazing, amazing. We have started this YouTube channel not even 4 months ago, and for it to grow as high as it is, because guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, out of everything I've promoted, everything I've learned from wrestling to this podcast, I'm always learning something new. But I will say this: it is insane how hard it is to hit over 100 subscribers, man. That is just an amazing thing. Amazing. I just want to say thank y'all. Seriously, thank y'all. Guys, also, this is episode 84. 84, guys, man. What a way it's coming. We're still on season three. Season three will probably end around April. Like I said, we usually take a long break right around the summertime because that's when I get my son. So that's usually how I break out my breaks and stuff like that. But guys, no more babbling on. Today, guys, I know everybody's excited to know about my guest today. My guest is Andrea Mason. Awesome chat. Looking forward to this. Not even going to say anything about this because literally it's going to be really interesting to see the perspectives of how this episode is going to be personified to anybody. This is motivationals. We've had numerous ones on before, and I've been getting a lot of replies, getting a lot of requests. We need more motivational speakers. We need more life coaches and stuff like that. A lot of those episodes have been the very captivating ones in a way. So, guys, I'm bringing to you. We're going to have fun. And, guys, let me tell you right now, I know y'all ready. Because the question is, are y'all ready? Because guess what, guys? That countdown, 30 to 1. And it's going to start just about right now. All right, I am joined with Andrea Mason. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It is Friday. Whew, what a week. What a week.
What a week. Absolutely.
Whew. Are you about to be on a nice little break for the weekend, or are you still going to be working during the weekend? Oh,
no,
yeah, there you go.
I take a break because I need to press pause from pressing play all week. See, up here in the Northwest, we've got snow, we've got ice, we've got hail.
Oh, yeah.
It's all kind of things. So they actually shut down the businesses.
I'm not even going to mention our
my
weather
weekend
then.
early.
I'm not even going to mention our weather over here then.
I can see your weather by the sunlight. So I'm getting my vitamin D through the camera right now. So it's all good.
Believe it or not, it's been pretty cold here lately, and it's like it's blowing. It's crazy, like how the weather has been just all down areas. Like right. we're in February now, and it was literally in the 80s around Christmas time out here, and everyone else was like 20s, 30s, possibly close to snowing and stuff like that. And now we're getting the 40-degree weather for like the last 2 to 3 weeks, which was funny because I once a year I plan a trip to go out to play flag football in Worlds and stuff, and they always play a location in Florida. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's gonna be hot, it's gonna be fun. We just got back from Tampa, and it was like one day it was in 75 degrees, the next day 40. Outside all day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And we got sleeveless jerseys and stuff. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, it got me again.
Yes, it's so funny you mentioned that because we're avid Disney fans, and we watch Disney vloggers all the time. And they're like, it's cold. I'm like, what is it, 50? And they actually showed some of the flowers in Florida covered to embrace the weather from the ice and the freezing. And I was just like, Yeah, let me give you a tissue as I'm bundled up in -5 degrees, freezing my tail off to get our son off to school, waiting for the car to heat up for about 10 minutes. So I empathize.
That's funny.
Right.
It's funny how you said that because, like, literally when it got in the 40s, I mean, I work like in a freezer area, so I'm used to the cold.
Right.
I'll wear shorts and maybe a long sleeve shirt, maybe a hoodie.
Right.
That's like winter weather to me in a way.
Right.
I saw somebody going to a gas station, and I mean, the dude had like one of those big puffy daggum jackets on. I'm looking, I'm like, bro, it's in the 50s.
Yeah.
We not in the 30s and 20s. He's got his hood on. I mean, he's got the wool on and everything. I'm like, you ain't sweating?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Right.
It's not that serious.
His excuse is he's trying to lose weight. He's doing the highlight, sweat it all off.
He must have done something. That was crazy.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. But it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, man. All right, Andrea. So,
yes,
if no one knows who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So my name is Andrea Mason, the global voice of motivational speaking. I'm a mentor, coach, certified under the legendary guru of Mr. Les Brown. I have met him in person and worked with him. He is an amazing individual. And for those of you who don't know, not to put a damper on it, but I'd like to acknowledge one of the other great late motivational speakers of this time, who's actually saved my life. May he rest in peace, Mr. Bob Proctor, another motivational guru of this time. And in doing so I started off my journey in a war-torn drug zone era at its prime. I was born in Colombia, South America. And my parents had to make the ultimate sacrifice to give me up for adoption, to give me a second chance of life. Oh, wow. For they were suffering through the cartel and the rugged wars going on. And I came to America, the promised land, at 11 months old, weighing in at 11 pounds. Wow. That's a pound per month.
Being at 11 pounds? Holy cow.
Yes, that's a pound per month. But I was gratefully blessed to be welcomed into unconditional arms, health, and wealth of my parents. Fast forward, at the age of 7, they had notified me that I was adopted. For my physical features, stature, as well as my speech, was different from theirs. So they said I was a blessing. I was a gift to them. Little did I know the years going forward, it was a tragedy. I had no photographs of my family, no medical records, no documents. So I was born with, to my idea as a 7-year-old, a blank slate, unknown identity. So being that I grew up what I like to call Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, where everybody knows your name and everybody gets along. Kids
I like that analogy.
Yes,
I like that one.
Kids can be cruel, right? So they said, wow, your parents didn't want you? They sent you to America on a plane at 11 months old? You don't even look like your parents. And what are you going to do? And so I was a victim of bullying. I was a victim of abuse. Physical, emotional, sexual, spiritual, because I didn't fit in. My only safe haven, Warren, was the stalls of the bathroom halls, because that's where I ate my lunch, just to escape the ridicule. But I turned my pains.
This is all at school?
Yes.
This is all at school?
At school. So I turned my pains into games to stick with the wrestling analogy. And I decided I was going to induct and dedicate over 2.5 decades of my life to social work and psychology, because I wanted to learn the socioeconomic status of the world. I wanted to get a clear picture of the lifestyles, cultures, and different languages around the world. And I also wanted to get the science component of it, why we do what we do and why we don't do what we do. And in my journeys, I worked with individuals from infantry to geriatrics, from on the streets to incarcerated individuals who performed the most heinous crimes. And what my underlying thread after I paid my dues was to treat each and every individual as a human. Who knew that suspended my career going forward? For they wanted to read the transcripts. They wanted me to read the labels. They wanted to read me the prognoses. But I turned my cans into cans and propelled before you, a global voice, having successfully shared my message, my mission on every continent of the world, giving you a chance to live your life and press play, plan life according to you.
I like that. I like how you brought such a negative outcome to a
Mhm.
positive effect.
Right.
A lot of people, it don't work that way. In ways, like I'm pretty sure, like that bullying stuff, it
Hmm.
wasn't easy. Like
No.
you were probably, I mean, we've seen numerous movies and stuff, and I think they've showed like where girls like, oh, their hair's not a certain color or stuff like that.
Right.
And I've
Mhm.
learned that being a father of a
Right.
3-year-old girl,
Yes.
now just seeing like some stuff that she watches on film and stuff like that, and she's picking it up like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's like
Yeah.
this,
That's why they're called
and
TV programs. They're
oh my
programming your
gosh,
mind into what's in store.
she watches this thing on YouTube, and it's with kids, and it's like a reality show, and she learns so much from it, which
Right.
it gives a good effect to it because it's teaching her ABCs and stuff like that. She
Sure.
knows 3 letters and stuff like it's just crazy like how quick they pick
Yes.
it up. So
Right.
like when you say bullying and stuff like that,
Yes.
it shuts a kid down. Like they
Oh
look
yeah.
at all the resources, they look at ideas and like, so what can I do to make it stop? What can I
Right.
do to make them think, hey, I'm just like them.
And
I'm fun. I'm a good person. I would
right.
like that toy or something like
Right.
that. Or like it just like these little things like you sit here and just pick a list and you try to check down and like, hey, eventually one of these checkpoints could be my
Right.
answer.
Right.
So what was that turning point for you when say like when you were bullying and stuff like that? What
Yeah.
motivated you to just keep going? Because I know that had to be some of the toughest things to ever do.
Absolutely, Warren. It was because, like I said, it is not how people think of you, but how they treat you. I was shoved into lockers, thrown into garbage cans.
Wow.
I mean, fecal matter thrown at my parents' home. It was just that the worst of the worst of bullying. So what I did was, to answer your question, I dove into two realms of areas of expertise and skills and talents that I excelled at, which was that of playing the piano and
Okay.
playing soccer. So whenever I wasn't able to go to my safe haven at home, on the field is where I took out my aggression, where I took out my physical ability in the gym, working out, getting prepared as an athlete should, and in the concert halls of the piano playing, because I was able to audio listen to music and play it. My piano teacher at the age of 4, that's how he taught us. Also at
Oh
the age
wow.
of 4 and 6, that's where I started soccer. And I just found an outlet that I can excel at and just
Mm-hmm.
focus and grind on that area.
Right.
And those playing fields and in the concert halls, aside from my home when my parents were both working, that's where I found my safe haven. Because I
Okay.
know if I had a driven determination and force and commitment and dedication to that skill that was given to me, I'm
It's
going to
like
go
it's
all in.
erased. It's like everything else is erased. Like you're
Yes,
in a tunnel that's like completely protected. And
absolutely.
I
Yes,
I could agree with you on that. Like, because I
yes.
mean, from my background, stuff like that, I was
Mhm.
not necessarily bullied, but I just had big expectations on my end, and it was
Right,
just like
right.
in my mindset, I always
Mhm.
felt like there was always more.
Right,
Like now, I'm in this bubble now that I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful for what I've done. But when I was in that machine mode, I was just like, I could
yes,
keep going. I could keep
right.
doing this. I could do this. Like my
Mhm.
background is in a way, it's actually been very impressive. So it's like literally, I played college basketball. I made it to that, and
Right.
regardless of my height, the way I look, or
Mhm.
whatever my analogy was, I made the college basketball ordeal. I just didn't finish it because I had a son, and I decided I wanted to be a father.
Right,
So it's like I
right,
had I'd done that. So then when I
right,
went in and tried to play semi-pro football and all this other stuff, and it's just like all this stuff that were given to me, it was just I felt like it wasn't enough at that time.
right, right,
And when I when I found out I was that it was all enough is when I had to drop out of professional wrestling due to a
right.
neck injury and concussions
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So it was like
Yes.
literally I realized, you know what? I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm okay with what I've done. I'm okay with everything that's been in my way because now I've got that one in there, a 3-year-old,
Right.
and I got my
Yes.
9-year-old. And I know for a fact that I have a great team, like my family, my wife,
Yes.
everyone. Like I have a good support team, and
Right.
and I mean, we all make these analogies and we say, you know what, when we have kids, we live for them in ways.
Right.
It's meaningful in ways, but you can still live for yourself, and that's
Yes.
what people don't realize. It's like
Hmm.
I think this is a great example when you see people that you've seen in high school and stuff like that. I look at the Facebook pictures and sometimes I'm like, I
Wow.
don't look like that.
Where have you
And
been?
I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I get it. We want to take time. We're happy wherever. If you're comfortable and you're happy with the way you look, great.
Right.
But in my mindset, if I don't go to the gym in 2 days, like I'm about to
Right.
have a mental breakdown. So
Right. Right. Right.
it's just
Yes.
in my mindset. So it's like in those
Right.
things. So it's just like, I mean, people have different opinions. People have different ways. And I like how you sat here and said that you had 2 different realms to erase that because
Yes.
you need that. And I tell people
Yes.
numerous times when they sit there and tell me they got bad anxiety and stuff like that.
Yes.
And my biggest problem is, and I think I've gotten bad feedback and good feedback in a way, is we rely on stuff that's handed to us better than us literally doing the work itself.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
great example, and we might get in trouble for this, anxiety.
Yes.
People think they need to take medicine to block out anxiety. When I agree there is ways to do that, but
Mhm.
are you doing stuff on your own to prevent that as well? That's
Yes.
the only thing I've had with people on that. Because
Right.
I mean, I freak out taking a Tylenol or something like that.
Right.
Like
Right.
literally,
Right.
if I'm sick or something, like I have to be really
Really, really
like,
sick to depend
out of
on the
something
substance.
to
Right.
to depend on like a Tylenol or something like that.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's just like
You know what?
it
Yeah.
drives me nuts. Like people just don't be like, hey, what do I need to do to fix this?
Yes.
Instead, it's
Yes.
like, hey, what can you give me to be okay with this?
Right.
And
And if you think
it's
about
crazy.
that, that's an excellent point. After being in the medicinal, whole, medical, social work, psychology fields for over some time, the latter years of my career, I went holistic and nutrition and natural. And I was just
Mhm.
like, it's all about mindset. And in homage to Mr. Bob Proctor, disease cannot live in a healthy mind. It just can't. And what frustrates me nowadays, Lauren, is that our attention span is that of 3 to 5 seconds, if that 3 to 10 minutes, because we want that immediate satisfaction and
Yeah,
instant
we want it now.
gratification.
We don't want to wait.
And we are not ready or willing to do whatever it takes. There's a plant out there for everything. There's a treatment out there that you can do. Everything you do in your life is a choice. You can choose
Hmm.
to smile or not, to go forward or backward. And I
Yep.
learned this process, if I may, in 2016. See, I lost my mother in 2007, unfortunately, due to a condition.
Hmm.
And I suppressed it. I was a workaholic, go to work early, come home late, do my due diligence like I was owning every business I ever worked for. And when she had passed, I took it upon myself to just kind of, quote unquote, as they say, hide behind your work. And
Hmm.
it took a toll after me. The universe said, all right, you're not going to take care of yourself. We're going to throw a wrench in your and a fork in your road. And unbeknownst to me, in 2016, I was getting ready to go to work, kissed the guys goodbye, and I went to work. I arrived at work and I wasn't feeling right. And I was like, that's weird. My body feels a little off. Took my inhaler because at the time I was diagnosed with exercise induced asthma. And I was just like,
Hmm.
feel a little winded. Next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital. Don't know what happened.
Wow.
I wasn't doing well. They ran a series of tests. To make a long story short, they said, don't know what it is. You can go home. They ran and everything. I go home, go about my business, start the next morning to go and get ready for the day. I get a call from the hospital saying, Andrea, we'd like you to come in. There was an oversight that we saw that we really need to discuss with you. Can you please come? I said, I'm going to work. I have stuff to do, bills to pay. I have to take care of my family, da 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 da. And I have to pick up my son and whatever. And they said, this is serious. You need to come in. Fast forward, I get to the hospital and the doctor pulls out the chart. He said, one of your tests came back with myasthenia gravis. Now, for those of you who don't know, myasthenia gravis is a terminal condition and a shutdown of a complete autoimmune disease. When I was revealed that information, I woke up in the ICU unit, hooked up to machines, was unable to use all of 4 of my limbs, unable to hold down food or water, was able to walk on my own will. And the only thing I had was my mind. And in doing so, my stay extended for about a week. And my husband had called. He said, we need you home. Your son needs you home. It's important you come here. Remember watching The Secret? He said, yes. He said, remember when we changed our mindset and invested anything that comes into our headspace, our bodies, or our spiritual component is of our choosing? I said, yes. Remember the medical excerpt? I said, yes. Spoiler alert, I won't ruin it for you, but check out The Secret. Little plug there. And so I applied it. And in doing so, the treatment team came in and said, nothing has changed. You've been here over a week. If you're unable to sustain foods and use your 4 limbs and heal yourself, we're still trying to figure out what's going on. Your time here will be extended until further notice. Well, Warren, at that moment, I draped my feet over the bed, jumped down because of my petite stature, and I walked to the nurse's station and back. I was able to use all of my limbs, consume food, and hold it down. So by that afternoon, my father had picked me up. I got a clean bill of health, discharged. We went to pick up our son, put my hand on his shoulder, and he said, Mommy, it's like Christmas. Last night we prayed for you to come home, and you're home. And at that moment, Warren, that is when I made a declaration to myself that my mind is the most important muscle in life.
Yeah.
And just to kind of tie the ends, I realized that every pre-existing condition I had up until that point, osteopenia, rheumatoid arthritis, carpal tunnel syndrome, 7 ulcers on my gallbladder had to be immediately removed, appendectomy, exercise-induced asthma, as well as frustration and upset for the loss of my mother, was all self-induced. And I'm happy to say, February 23rd, 2016, to this very day, I have a clean bill of health because I changed my mind. And as, again, disease cannot live in a healthy mindset. And it's, everybody has a choice. You have a choice to be happy. Everybody loves misery, loves company. Why can't you say happy and smile? Be infectious and contagious with love as opposed to toxic and damaging with frustration. I can't. I won't. I don't want to. We are the only creatures of habit and comfort that will replay the hamster wheel in our life over and over again, thinking things are going to change when we don't.
No, I agree with you on that. Yeah. I love how you said that because, like, literally, it's kind of like, I think the best way to use an example for it is like, it's kind of like how you feel like when you go to work. If you go to work angry, of course you're going to have a bad day. You go to work with an open mindset and stay in that mindset, you clock in. It's not as bad. And like literally and I love how you said you were a workaholic because like I used to use going to the gym. Wrestling was a great comfort for me for the longest because of the stuff that I've had people know. Obviously, they've seen these episodes. They know the stuff I go through when it comes to me being a father of a child, not only a special needs child, but not with him fully 24/7 and stuff like that. And what all that escalates. And now my son is starting to pick it up and he's realizing why. And those are the questions and they're getting harder to answer every year, basically because with him still being special needs, my son's got one of the best memories I've ever known. And he used to be
Yes.
my notepad, what I used to say, because like
The little Alexa.
I would not remember anything. He could tell me everything and anything. Like he could tell me about the match that he was at, my very last match or something like that. He said, "Daddy, that chair, it looked like it hurt." I'm like, "How do you remember that?" He's like, "Daddy, it looked painful." Like he told me exactly how it felt that whole day, how he felt when he saw it and everything. I'm just like, son, that was like 5 years ago. Like I'm fine. I'm right in front of you. I'm good. But he's like, "Daddy, it hurt. It looked bad." And like he would just have that mindset, and he just talks like he's still in that visualization.
Yes.
And it's like, it's crazy because all the stuff that my son goes through, with his parents not being together, with him having scoliosis, with him being autistic, him being in the percentile of, as an infant, basically with 12 birthmarks before he even hit 12 months old, to have NF1, and probably in the possibility of in the next 2 to 3 years, his back is going to basically give out on him and he's going to have to be like this. And because of the scoliosis and stuff like that. And it's because he's already got his chest popping up like this kind of already.
Yeah.
But he's actually, he's so on the go. And it's like, literally, he's the happiest kid around. Yeah. Like when I see stuff, I don't even let my kids watch the TV anymore because it's, I'll let them watch YouTube, Netflix, and stuff like that, because it's like that negativity. I don't want that on my kids. Yeah. And it's like, it's sickening. I used to not be that type of parent to like shelter them in ways like that, but it's like you have to. Yeah. Like how you said we have a choice to be happy or stuff like that. I want my kids to enjoy stuff. I want my kids to not judge somebody by how they look, whatever. Right. I mean, I played basketball. I'm white. Yeah. I played basketball. I'm not 6'8", not 6'4". I'm 5'8", maybe on a good day. Maybe 5'8.1", maybe on a good day. Depends on what type of heel of a shoe I wear. But for me, judgment is not even a thing, man. It's like how you treat me, I treat you. That's how I've always been. And I think the best thing about this guy that he sells these shirts nonstop is the biggest and most important thing is to always be nice. You never know how people feel. You never know what people are going through. You never know. I've seen a homeless person be more happier than someone that is a 6-figure person, because you know what? He's stable. He knows, not stressing all the time. Yeah, it sucks that he doesn't have money. It sucks he doesn't have a house, but he's not stressed as bad as somebody that's on the go working a 6-figure job, because guess what?
Yeah,
it was his choice.
And those are the people I find are most generous. They're living through their heart, not through their wallet. They're living through love and not through stress and competition. Yep. And it is important that we remember that. You know, our son watches PBS, which is a public broadcasting station with no commercials. He doesn't need to be programmed in that way. And that's why they're called programs. Before my journey, when I started 2014, listening to Mr. Brown, Mr. Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and we completely unplugged as a family, I was like them. I'm not hating on anybody. But when you change your channel and realize everything is a choice, sometimes you want to put the veil back on, but most of the time you see the clarity.
You want that comfort. Sometimes you want that comfort because it's that comfort area. And that's one thing I hate. Cut you out on that, but it's that comfort area that's everybody. 95% of this world right now is in a comfort zone. Yes, and they don't know how to step out. Like me doing this podcast, I thought of it just as a trial, have fun with it, stuff. Right. It's growing, because I put the effort into doing this. Like, I could have been like a typical person, like, hey, I'll do a wrestling podcast. Right. But no. I wanted to do something, step out of the box. When people ask me, hey, so what we talking about? Depends on what you want to say. And people get thrown off like, huh?
Yeah, they're like, what? There's no script? I can't. What's the script? What's going on? Yes.
What topics are we talking about? You.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one thing I think is always, when I was wrestling, one thing that somebody could always say, they never could say, I never gave back. I never could be told I never gave back to anybody I've ever been in the ring with or what I've done around, because like how we said, we don't realize it until something happens to us to make that halt to be like, wow, this is what I done. My biggest change when as a professional wrestler, and I still hold very dear to it, is when I was at a show, and this was right before I actually about said I was done, and I just lost my grandfather. And I didn't really get to cope with it. I didn't really get to like have that mindset thinking like, you know what, he's gone. Because I'm the third Warren in my generation. He was the first. So he was very close to me, very known for being in my life. And when he was gone, I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to take it. And believe it or not, the night that he passed, I was wrestling the next night because that's what I was built known to do. And I felt like, you know what? I need my mind off of this thing.
Right. Yeah. And that's
I will say this on this episode right now. I'm sorry for being very stiff with that guy that was in the ring with me that night.
Right. Just took it all out on him. Yeah.
Oh man. But like right that same night, a kid had a sign holding up, and it meant so much to me. I actually went over to the kid and kind of broke character in ways. Like, I mean, my character was in a mask as a superhero type scenario. So I felt like, you know what, it's okay to be this. And this kid told me, I beat cancer because you conquered and won this championship. And it struck me because like you hear so many things and you don't know what's real or fake around. But when that kid told me exactly who I was, his mom telling me about him being in Callahan the first time that I was wrestling and stuff like that, it really struck me, and I was like, this is why I'm doing this. This ain't me just trying to get to the WWE or something like that. This is why I'm doing this. I always felt like I needed to be a role model to kids. I always wanted something. If I was a millionaire or something like that, I would have done something with Boys and Girls Club or something. I've always wanted to be a motivator, a good person that people can look at and go, I want to do something like he did. I want to do this. And basketball was taken from me because I had a kid at the time. So, I mean, you get bitter about it because you put so much heart and soul. Like how you said about soccer. I eat, sleep, and live basketball. Like,
me too.
It's crazy now. My life now, I haven't really even picked up a basketball and been on a court as relentlessly as I was from literally my 5th grade year all the way to my senior year and playing a little bit in the college level. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's been that long ago. So it's like, man, it's like another lifetime. I play basketball. Sometimes it's like, and people, man, you had a nice shot. And I'm like, I don't even remember it. Like, it's just like, I played basketball? What life are we in now? Like, what?
And it's the same thing. And I truly say a testament to that kid with the sign that evening was your grandfather saying, this is why you are here. He's shining down saying, this is what you're calling. And for me, in my collegiate years, my soccer career was stripped from me. I was playing roughhouse because I went to school in the South, and some of the students there were Florida boys. They never seen snow. So there was like a call in the dorm, hey, who wants to play football? Now, despite my appearance, I grew up with all male cousins. So I didn't have any female influence. My mom was working. My grandmother took care of me after school. And, so I didn't have the doll scene, the dress up scene or anything. So this is new. So this is a new thread of clothes. It's laundry day, but it's all good. And so I played football with them in college. It was a pickup game. And I remember the ball came to me. I went this way. My leg went that way. My knees were destroyed.
Wow.
I tore my ACL and my PCL in each of my knees. My career was done. And it actually was a blessing, but, a tragedy. It was a tragedy because I loved it. I loved what I've done.
You lived
but
it.
I lived it. And I was hoping to go to MLS and everything. And then it just, that was taken from me. But in hindsight, as 2020 is, it was a blessing because I finished college in the 4 years. I was able to graduate. And I wasn't able to, I benefited and excelled throughout the years, because I was able to focus, I wasn't traveling as they traveled almost every week with the team.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, yeah, it was crazy. And I haven't.
You sleep and live that sport.
It was ridiculous. Like, I would have the soccer ball like in my arms, so asleep. I would just be grinding. And when our son was just like, "Let's go play soccer," I was like, I don't even know how now.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it came back a little bit, and he picked up on it. But it's when you feel like you are doing something for someone else, it takes forever. But when you enjoy the process and embrace the process for yourself, time is a second. And going back to what you mentioned in the beginning of the segment, a lot of the parents out there, I want you to take this and write it down, take it to your heart. Allow your kids to dream. Allow your kids to create a vision. Allow your kids to follow their heart and not the herd nor the hurt, for that's when success is on the other side. Don't live your dreams through your kids. Allow them to excel, because when they do what they love, that's when they're going to skyrocket. Just be supportive.
They shut
down. Yeah. It's just so amazing. You know, our son at a young age wants to be a scientific chef with owning his own restaurant and a pilot. Why would I be the person that rains on his parade saying, yeah, well, you make sure you get your grades like that? Follow their dreams. Be a part of the solution to allow them to live those dreams, because that will dampen and fuse the conflict, and they'll respect and understand you more. We need to be role models. We are the first faces, coaches, role models, and leaders in our children's eyes. And when we come from the heart with good intentions, authenticity, passion, integrity, and transparency, that's when they're going to excel. That's when they're going to live their dreams. And we must be our number one, having our mental health, physical health, spiritual health, emotional health at number one, because that's our asset. Because without that, we're not here for them. We're not here to be a service of others. And that is what I've changed my life, my mission, and my message to the world. I don't dictate, I don't lecture, I don't manage. That's not my style. I come true, authentic, with integrity. No excuses, just results. For if I'm to lead you, I'm dictating your life. If I'm to guide you, I'm pushing you in an uncomfortable zone. So I am an accountability coach that walks beside you, just like a parent to the child's back of their bike when they're learning to ride. You fall up, I'm right there when you get back. And keep you on path, keep you accountable, responsible, reliable to live your dreams. You may know this gentleman, a great motivational speaker, Greg Plitt. God rest his soul. He was an athlete and a weightlifter. He said, you only get one life. But if you play it right, that's all you need. And that's what's important, because when we live life through the lens that we choose, that's when we lead a legacy of love for those behind and those in the future. Stop wasting time worrying about what others think. Stop wasting time by procrastinating. It's not what you get in life, it's what you be in life. And prior to this transformation that I took upon myself, the journey to meet with Mr. Les Brown and enroll in October 2020, to be on this amazing platform with you just over a year, to have spoken on every continent, to have taught and graduated young girls from Africa, to mentor and empower the men and women of Pakistan and orphans, and to give back to the world. It goes back to what you said, Warren. Just be kind. Just be yourself. You don't know what the other one's doing. When we're younger, our story is told to us. But at one point, we must take the pen in our hand and start writing our own.
Yep. I totally agree with you on that. I wish people would start taking that mindset because I the biggest thing as I tell people is just find your why.
Yes.
And
yes.
You don't go to the gym just because you wanna just look like Aquaman. I think that's the best example. You want to go to the gym to feel comfortable, feel stable, feel like you can stand next to somebody like me. Stand somebody that literally looks like they go to the gym 24/7 and not feel like, oh man, I shouldn't be here. Like this is not a place for me. Because I mean, when I was a personal trainer, I experienced it, and I mean, it puts you into a shelter zone and it makes you shut down more without even saying anything, just from showing somewhere. And I'm like, you made this choice. And this is one thing I told my clients. I said flat out, the hardest thing you could ever do. And they're like, what, is work out? I'm like, no, show up. Because I guarantee you, you're paying money to go. You go, you're going to do something. You're not just going to go there and be like, nah, I'm out. Out. Like this ain't. That $10 a month is coming out of my paycheck, so I gotta. I ain't doing that. We ain't wasting it. It's like food. It's like food, man. It's like, nah, I can't throw this steak away. I just throw $30. Nope.
Right.
I'm downing it, or it's gonna be later. Like it's just that analogy. And and it's so many people. Like I remember one person that had scoliosis and stuff like that, and was over 240 pounds. When I was done with them in almost a year, they dropped 30-something pounds. 30 pounds just from showing up. And that was one thing I tell people all the time. I will give you all I got. I'll expect the same. I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to bully you. But when you're with me, I'll help you. But the biggest thing is, what do you do on your free time, on your spare time? What are you doing to get the results that you're wanting? I can only do so much for you.
Right.
It's up to you to make that choice to be like, you know what? Maybe that cake wasn't the decision. If it is, what I do, I don't diet. People think it's crazy. I don't eat seafood. I don't eat any of that. Mike, I literally count what I'm eating. So say like if I eat a burger that day, guess what?
You're doing double time on the gym. Yeah.
Gotta eat more vegetables that next meal or something like that. Maybe the ice cream ain't gonna be the choice this week. Like it's just one of these little things. Like you gotta pick. Like if you want the results, you gotta drop some stuff that you gotta sacrifice.
Right. And that go ahead. Sorry.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
And that's what's made my coaching thrive. The famous cliche, you lead a horse to water, can't force them to drink. And that's what I do. I don't judge, don't dictate, don't lecture, just listen and learn. And what's amazing, what you had said was that, you got to do it for you. You got to do it for your why. How bad do you want it? Because if you're willing to, I hate that phrase, so I'm going to rephrase it. I'm going to be honest with you. Before all this transformation, I binge watched. I came home from my 9-to-5 job and then crashed on the couch and watched TV until bedtime, maybe had a horrible meal in between. But then I realized, when I started realizing, how am I being productive as opposed to busy? How am I being healthy as opposed to hazardous to my health? And when I started unfeeling the layers, my former boss at my last job before the lockdown said, you don't know how good you feel until you feel good. And I thought that was the most amazing statement he said. Because I said, I worked in a wellness center that was of the elite, like we're talking elite equipment, cutting edge equipment, which is a Carol, which is a high intense resistance bike where you do a 3-minute run and it's like running 45 miles, and an ARX machine, which is high resistance, which I think Mr. Robbins is the only one that has it in the States, where what you give is what you resist. and it was an
I've seen a
insane
video of them.
machine.
Those are insane.
Those two I did every day in my daily routine as a job, and I was, oh my gosh, I miss those machines now because it's shut down. I'm just like, now I have to really work harder. But it's how bad do you want it? And when I was working with the clients in that clinic, I said, look, the only time you're going to pay attention is when you pay. So pay it forward and invest in you. I'm not here. I'm making a living, but I want you to succeed. And every day we move that edge marker to healthier, happier, more time. That's something you can't get back. Time is a very variable. It's how you use it or abuse it. It can't be replaced or taken advantage of. And when we learn, and I help individuals with this, when we learn how we're utilizing our time, I have been successful in helping individuals meet their dreams 6 months in advance according to their deadline, and buy back up to 40 hours per month to do with what they please. And it's just mindset. It's all about the mission, the focus, and the drive on what are you willing to do to get the results. Because let's be honest, I saw a meme a couple of weeks ago. You don't see, a U-Haul behind, a G5 or, a Lamborghini or McLaren.
Nope.
You see the actual product that they invested their time, they were disciplined, mind over matter, and did what it takes to receive those items. And honestly, when we go to the other side, none of that's coming with us.
Right.
It's just another materialistic items for other people to clean up.
I agree. I love it.
So I mean, it's just, we got to find our why. We got to follow our heart. And if we don't know what's right or wrong, take 3 seconds, put your hand over your heart, and your intuition and gut will steer you in the right way always.
Yep. I agree with you. I think everything is, in reality, everything is temporary.
Yes.
And it's a matter of how you treat it. You treating your body.
Right.
Your body's like a car.
Yes.
That new car is amazing. It's great, no problem. But when those little kinks start happening every other year, and it's just like, oh man, now this is adding up. This is adding up.
Yep.
It's kind of like your body. Like you eating
Actually,
fried food all the time, man. I'm tired of being so gassy.
Yeah. Well, have you seen what you're doing? Well, it's the definition
like, literally.
of insanity.
And you feel sluggish. You feel so sluggish. And the best thing, and shout out to the episode I'm about to have out literally in another hour. And the funny thing is, people have asked me, is like, man, I didn't know caffeine was in water. Like just how some people can get when drinking water. It's just like, it blows my mind. But this has been absolutely a blast, Andrea.
Thank you.
This has been some awesome messages, and I really hope we really help somebody if they're going through something, feel like they're not in a place that they needed to be. And one thing I've always learned too, being a personal trainer and just everything that I've done in life, you've only succeeded on something that you believe. If you believe, hey, me getting off that couch was a success today, guess what? It's only what you believe. If you believe it's negative, guess what? It might be negative because in your mind, it's already there. So that's the only way I've always learned it, man. Like literally, I've been structured with a military family household and stuff like that. I can't say literally I haven't been raised that I never had my family or something like that. I have. I've been one guy that literally was sheltered in ways. My parents love to remind us nowadays, like, we didn't want y'all not to have anything. But I'm very thankful now because people just, it's crazy. Like they just forget where not necessarily you forget what you're from, but you forget your worth. Everyone is worth. Everyone means something. Everyone has got something that can be as special to whatever. It's what you believe, then it is. And that's one thing I love about my daughter. Like she's helped me realize stuff is, like how I say, she watches these videos and like she's starting to learn our words.
Right.
She's got a hell of an imagination. Like with her stuffed animals,
Oh
Her
my
stuffed
gosh.
animals live.
Yes.
Her stuffed
Who
animals
you
are
talking
treated
to?
so much better. Treated so much better than everyone else in this house. It's crazy. Like my daughter has 50 stuffed dogs. We literally have a freaking golden doodle sitting right over here, and barely
Just
pay any
managing.
attention to this thing. But we got this stuffed animal from the Build-A-Bear. That thing is life.
Yep. And it's
Daddy, doggy, you got this big
yes.
old chia puff doggy right here, and you don't even acknowledge. Like
Yes.
it's just crazy. Like in her
Yeah.
mindset, that's
Yes.
Sasha. This
And
one
that
over here, you
yeah.
there,
Yeah,
you
you
there.
just sit there. Yeah, and that's
You
what it
just
is.
there.
And that's what it is. Imagination, I believe Albert Einstein says, knowledge will get you only so far, but imagination encircles the world. And I'd like to leave you on this. Confucius said, those who say they can and those who say they can't are both usually right. There's no bias in judgment on what you say. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge a good friend of mine, Dr. Nelson Beltechar from thepositivedrip.com. He said this: the best word in the language is impossible. Why?
Yep.
Because I'm right in front of it. And don't you forget that. Make sure that
that
you make every moment possible. If you can, and closing in honor and memoriam of Mr. Bob Proctor this afternoon, if you could see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Thank you so much. And we had an amazing time. I'd like for you guys to, on the playback, grab your cell phones and type in am.pressplay at yahoo.com. Type in
It'll be on the links below. It'll be on the links below.
I'm Buzzing with Marlowe, and I will welcome you a 30-minute complimentary consultation session.
There you go. Hey,
guys. Token of my refreshment.
You ain't got an excuse. You get a nice little gig, man. Why not?
Yes,
hey.
Free gift. Absolutely.
Awesome plug. Awesome plug. Guys, the link will be below when this episode is out. Andrea, I appreciate this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Keep the sun rising.
Oh, man. Hopefully there will be some heat for you.
Yes, exactly. All right. Thank you so much.
Just start digging a hole, and you might find a pool in there when it melts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, Warren. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one. All right, guys. Time to go home cue. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Andrea Mason for coming on and giving such an amazing inspirational. Guys, take some of the words that she has put out here and use it. I mean, stuff that she has went through and stuff like that, man. I feel like we get more attached to something like stuff that she has went through to, like, I think the best example is like when I met shout out to my great friend Pastor Maurice and his family. I mean, they're literally such an inspiration to me. Literally I got closer to knowing about church and stuff like that from them compared to somebody that literally has been living like a lifestyle I had, very sheltered, very oriented, told what to believe, what not to believe, and stuff like that. And when I met them and just realized some of the bad choices that he had to make it to where he is successful now, and they have their own church, they have their own fellowship. I mean, they're changing the game when it comes to stuff like that. Shout out to them. You start realizing, hey man, there is a positive in this. There is a way. Like it's only impossible if you believe it. And one thing we should learn right here, guys, one word I hate more than anything on this planet. If you know me in general, there's something that is told that I can't do it. And I don't believe it. I look at my track record. People have told me I couldn't be a wrestler. I was one of the best ones in the state. People told me I couldn't be a basketball player. I made college basketball. You're too white. You ain't gonna jump high enough. It didn't need it. I didn't care. I still made it. And my jump shot, that's what I was known for. So literally, there's never been a way that I've not been able to do something. And it's crazy when you see this stuff and the analogy is you can't. I don't believe in it. I still won't. I don't give a damn until the day I die. I will not hear the word I can't, because it's still hard for me to even have that mindset and be like, no, I can't. No, man. When you find out you have cancer or something like that, you don't just shut down and say, you know what, that's it. No, you go and find out. You find out other ways to, hey, how can I get rid of it? Hey, can I do this? Hey, can I do that? Or you can be those guys like, oh, I can take this. It will help me this. That's all great and dandy, but what are you doing outside of that? What are you doing outside of the hospital to help keep yourself going? You have to exercise. You have to keep doing personal physical activity, getting up, walking, doing stuff like that. It all pays off. I'm telling y'all guys, you have to do the little to get the big prize. And that's one thing I've always learned. That's one thing I've tried to bring a message to everyone every episode is all it takes is a little effort. You take that little effort, that's the biggest captivity thing that can happen. So guys, the link will be below. Hit up Andrea. Go on that thing, man. You get a free session from just saying you've watched this episode off of Buzzing with Marlowe. Shout out to her on that, man. That's the first major ordeal thing that we have gotten free. So that's pretty awesome. So guys, take that chance, hit it up, and see what's it about. Because I'm telling you right now, that was such a beautiful episode. Such a beautiful thing to know from a negative outcome that has happened in her life to make a huge positive effect. That is the best thing that anyone can have. Guys, this has been another great episode of Buzzing with Marlowe. If you haven't, guys, click the link above, like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms on those scrolling things, guys. We making it big. We looking more official, like this is pretty cool. Like I watch so much podcasts all the time, man. Shout out to Chris Van Vliet, Chris Jericho, Renee Paquette, Conrad, Jim Cornette, just numerous podcasts. All the guys that are doing podcasts nowadays, man. My boy Shiz Linsky from Off the Top Rose podcast. Tune into his stuff later on tonight at 11 for him to go on his show and talk pro wrestling. He gets a little rowdy sometimes, guys, but it's very entertaining. It's awesome. We get great feedback about commission talks just because of me and him bantering back and forth. It's classical. We might actually do like a versus battle in a way, maybe in the near future. But guys, also check out Commission Talks. 3 podcasters as one, as the commission. We are on every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube Live. Also, if you're on Off the Top Roast Podcast, when it's that week, it will also be on Twitch, as long as also as Buzzing with Marlowe. It will be on my Facebook page and my Twitch page and my Twitter account. So literally, there are so many ways of watching that. But guys, this was awesome. This was awesome. Guys, this has been episode 84. Round of applause. Season 3. We still kicking it live. It's 2022. It's up from here, man. It's been an awesome thing. The NFL, what an amazing season it has. Major kudos to my Jaguars. They finally got something right. They missed the bigger picture, but they got something out of it. But we'll see how that goes. Maybe 4 wins. We'll see. Can't do any worse. Gosh, have mercy. 4 wins in 2 seasons. That's just unheard of. But guys, I'm done bickering on. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe to all of our platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reason, all them stuff, man. Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, all of them, man. Check it out. Hit them up so you can stay tuned for every episode. Guys, I'm done bickering on. And guys, I want to make it a shout out to all of y'all for making over 100 subscribers on YouTube. That is insane. That is awesome. Also, I want to thank all my guests that has been on in the past, audio-wise and video-wise, because now every episode is going to be with video. I'm looking so forward to it. Guys, no more talking. I will see y'all down the road when we have more. Later.
All right.